Anyway, cool. So safecasty things. Let me share my screen. Yeah, okay. And I'll put the board up like I usually do. And oh, I think it might be fun to put up the dev site as well. I know me and Rob have taken a look at this, but I don't know.
That's very nice work. Congratulations.
Yeah, but Emre did a really good job here. I don't even think it was like technically ticketed on the board. Like I think basically, where was it? It was this one that he's basically doing it as part of. So I'll do that. And originally I said like, oh, don't worry about making the whole site responsive. But he said, no, I think I can just make the whole site responsive. So yeah, it's pretty nice. And it like, you can shrink it down and make it big and all things work pretty nice. And it seems to work pretty well on an iPhone. A couple of like fonts and borders and stuff bumped around. So it might like feel a little different, but all the functionality seems to be there. So
yeah, it's very usable on the iPhone. I have to agree. It's good. Yeah.
Where before it basically wasn't. So like almost at all. So yeah, I'd say this is an improvement. I had a couple of comments. I haven't looked this morning to see if you got back to me on those, Emery. But like they were mostly just like kind of code style nits more than anything else. So this is not the right PR. It's a different one. Let me try to find the right PR. This one. Cool. Yeah, I had a couple of comments. The main things, like we could merge it as is. I noticed you bumped the timing on the search back to 500. I had bumped it to 200 just because like Rob tried it and he was like, this feels slow. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's actually just the debounce timeout. So I think we probably could go 200 unless you have a strong reason not to.
After the back button fix, the page reloads if 200 milliseconds are passed. So it kind of feels weird when the focus is lost on the text box. That's why I changed it to.
Oh, we lose focus. Interesting.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting. So I guess we could leave it at that. Let me see. So you're saying like after like a search here,
right?
And then if you click back, where do we lose? Like
while you are typing, if you make a short pause, it loses focus, so you can continue typing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's felt different. This is much better. The 200 works better.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying, Emre, that like, I think we should try to figure out how to not lose focus when that happens. Yeah, because the 200 will make it feel a lot sharper. But I see what you mean, that like, you don't want to be halfway through typing someone's name, which at 200, you're a lot more likely to be halfway through typing through something. Okay. Does that work that way on the site today? Or is this some like side effect of the refactoring? Oh, I see. Yeah, you do lose focus. Okay. All right, so this is probably fine to stay in, and then we can figure out what to do about the focus. Or probably, my guess is it might take the form of like putting the focus back. You know, like after you do this form submit, just like notch back to the text box.
This problem somewhere else recently, and I can't remember where.
Gotcha. Cool. So we could merge as is. I don't know.
I'm still working on it, so
cool.
I will let you know when I think I'm finished.
Cool. I had a comment on here where the let me just view file here, because like the way that is AirNote is like passing down, like is AirNote, that like basically all the functions now have this like is AirNote Boolean is like sort of a code smell. I was thinking probably one of the ways around it might be to actually take the URL resolution and move it into here. So like when you ask for a CPM panel, it knows that like you want panel 14 from this dashboard. And then that way, basically on the AirNote pages, we'll ask for an air quality and air quality map. And those will have this dashboard baked into the map, basically.
Much better, much nicer. Yeah, I like that.
I think that'll make this a lot cleaner, and also make it easier to like override and stuff like that. So when we want to change the dashboard for a given like embedded panel, we can just say, you know, just have one hash here that says it's this ID plus this this panel number, and then that's it. And then you should be able to take off is AirNote from like all of these, because basically the URL switch, instead of being down here, should just be in here. And And I think it's okay to duplicate the dashboard ID, and then probably pull the base URL from like here. So we'll need to edit the server setting, but that's like super easy. It's like literally I just type in the new one and hit save, and it's done. So you know, we can, right now we're supplying like the full Grafana base URL here potentially, but we could just have it be this part, and I can just tweak that on the server, like I said, very, very simply. So does that make sense?
Okay. Yep.
Cool.
I'm trying to compare the API and the dev API, and I can't log in to dev. Is that by
It's a
design?
different account. Yeah, it's not, we don't like synchronize the two or anything like that. So
Okay.
if you just register, I can bump you to being an admin.
It doesn't matter. I was just I was comparing things, and there were differences. Oh, one of them signed in and one of them's not. And then I tried to sign in and it said invalid credentials. So, okay.
Yeah, so just sign up. That's funny. We got a bunch of attempted signups from probably
dev?
like spam. On dev. Oh wait, no, this is on API. Sorry, I got my tabs mixed up.
Yeah, when they look so much alike, it's hard to remember where you are.
Yeah.
Is it? But then again, if you do something like make the background on dev pink to warn us, then that's making changes that might affect. It's not.
Yeah.
Soon we will only want to have pink in the background. Move from dev to the real one.
Yeah, we could do like a banner at some point, or but whatever.
What you do is you toggle. You have dev be like beige and API white, and when you deploy, you reverse them, and every other time. So
because that won't be confusing.
Right.
Anyway, so if you register, we can just flip you to admin pretty easily, and then you can poke around and do whatever else you need to do. So, yep, let us know. Easy enough. It looks like there's a handful of moderators who can set it, myself, Rob included. So,
okay,
cool. Emery, I'll make you a moderator there as well too, so you can fiddle around with that stuff.
Check those things. Yeah.
Save. Cool. And then the only other thing was just like a little bit inline styling. Maybe it could be a class. Up to you. Like, not a strong preference either way. So like I said, I overall I think I would be fine merging it as is, but it sounds like you still have a little bit of work that you want to do. So just give us a heads up when it's ready, and we'll go for it. Overall, I think looks like a major improvement. So thanks.
Actually, looking at comparing them, it's like when they change a car from one year's model to the next, and it's clearly recognizable. It's still a Mustang or whatever, but it's just improved. So it's not so dramatic that you go, "Hey, is this the same same website?" But so I think it's really good.
Agreed. Request here so we can see it. And this includes that dedicated page for AirNote as well. But it's not super filled out. Like, it's basically just the device story page, but it's responsive now, and then it just has like a placeholder where if you say, let me see if I still have it in my browser history. I might, because I was playing around with it. So I just put like blah, but if you don't specify a number, it just says invalid URN, help page is a work in progress. So we'll just have to, someone is going to have to write up a little bit of copy to say like, hey, someone probably who has an AirNote. So Rob, I guess I'm sort of looking at you, or I don't know, I think Peter has one. Maybe Ray could help us out. Like, I don't know what the troubleshooting steps would be necessarily. Like, I could make some stuff up. I have no idea if it's going to be accurate. I assume it has to be in decent sunlight. I assume you should see some numbers on the display. But if there's any sort of like,
I fixed mine.
Yes. Good. I saw. Yeah. So yeah, we just need to put something up here that says, what are some rough troubleshooting tips if you're not seeing your device here. And then we can flesh out the page as time goes on. And then hopefully eventually, instead of pointing at Grafana, we can point here. And that enables us to do all these sorts of nice things like, if a user's logged in, we can show them F instead of C. If they have like units preference, we can show them different units, that sort of thing. For now, the page is basically just a mirror of this page. So not super exciting at present, but it's got commenting support, which is kind of cool. And it's also, we can code whatever we want here, whereas with Grafana, we're faced with the limitations of what Grafana is trying to accomplish. So. Cool. Cool.
I did a sign up and confirmation. It wasn't quite as bump free as I would hope.
You're here.
Yeah,
So
you're in.
you got through it. That's a good sign.
I had to do some more typing. The default came back. I don't know if it's an interaction with Chrome or whatever, but the default came back with my name pre populated in the ID instead of email.
Okay, that's a little weird. But you're in. You're a moderator. Feel free to play around. Cool. That's pretty much that. What else do we have going on? I have the word around here somewhere. Cool.
I would like to see it. Oh, hold on a second. The migration of the data. That's my main thing for
this one.
Yeah.
Cool.
But what's the step we have to take for that?
I think I put some in here. But basically, the main thing is, first off, like I think we talked about this 2 meetings ago. But what would be good is, here it is basically to look at, go into the database, the API database for this point cast, try to find all the points, and then probably build some sort of a script or something like that that will actually feed the points that are in the measurements table for this point cast back into ingest. Probably straight into the ingest endpoint, but if we need to do like a bulk load or something like that, we could do that too. It's all on the same AWS account, so if we needed to set up like a script that kind of talks to potentially all 3 databases, like we have the API database, we have the ingest Postgres database, and then we also have Elasticsearch. And so you could write a script that kind of like knows how to talk to all 3 and then does like a direct bulk load of data or something along those lines. But first things first, I think, is just to look at copying some of the data over, working out what that script is going to be. And then I think the really important thing on my mind is working out how to identify the point at which double publishing started, because we don't want to import anything beyond that point, because otherwise we'll end up with heavily duplicated data in the ingest database. So at the moment, all new data comes into both places. So what we just need to do is find, it should probably be the same point in time for all devices, but basically figure out what the time is and then import all the data up until that time. So.
But the MD5 would be the same, so it should reject that. If the same.
Nah, ingest takes whatever. Yeah, there's no like.
Okay.
Yeah, ingest.
Yeah,
that was sort of the design. It was like very loose, like publish what you want and we'll filter it out after the fact. It was kind of the strategy. So.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's fine. So, but you're the only one that can do that, being honest, at this point.
At this point, yeah. I mean, like, technically, Ato and Rob, you have the level access. Andrew does as well. I could probably set you up, Emery, but it might be a little bit much to take on. So, yeah, maybe I should.
But it would be very good to get that going. I would really appreciate it, that we can see show all the data in graphs easily.
Cool.
Or at the anniversary. That would be great.
Yep. Cool. Sounds good. Where do we stand on this one? Do we have? I know I implemented the multiple metric rollover support, but did it work out or no? There was still like a rounding problem, I think, right?
Yes, there was a rounding problem.
Yeah. Okay. And the rounding problem exists already.
Yeah.
So I think we should probably. Yeah, I think we should probably open a new issue specifically to try to address the rounding problem, which is actually also an issue over on the Grafana map database or issue database, I guess. So if you're lucky enough to get a round number, it looks great. But if you're not, it looks kind of terrible.
Yeah, that's true. It looks horrible.
Yeah. So how about this? Since the multi-metric support is there, I'm going to close this one because that's done. And then I'll open up a new one for, I'll open up a new one for the rounding. And
yeah, that would be nice.
I'll continue this to be, and actually I think Ato ended up looking at the KML problem, so I'll assign that to him. Take me off.
But I think he did it already.
Yeah, it might be.
It would be nice if you compress it. That's the only thing left.
Yeah, that's right. Which looks, did he open a different issue for that? Yeah, it looks like he did. So let me just see.
Well, he did that different one. So.
List and pick up. Just see what he's got there, and then I will open up a new one regarding the rounding. Just find a nice screenshot here. And then there's also there's a rounding issue in here.
Yeah, yeah, they have one too. Yeah.
Formatting numbers, that's the one.
That's a pretty noisy keyboard.
Yeah, no. You could are making some delicious things, so I don't mind this sound. I know it's a little bit annoying.
I thought it was frantic coding on someone's part here.
You will ruin your keyboard if you had the food processor in it.
I'll put that there so that people can pick that
software
up.
and sausage, right? You should know what's going on.
That is, I have this one, and then basically, you know, these two kind of go together. So I'd say, if anything, Emre can kind of stick in the, you know, improving the overall device story. You know, is I forget, did we roll out the comment support, or do we need to do a deployment for that? Because I think after the comment support, okay, so we needed a deployment for the comment support. I noticed it was on dev, so I guess once we roll out your responsive layout, we'll get that as well. So maybe we'll just do the two together since they're all kind of in the same space.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Responsive layout. Yeah, we'll deploy all that together, and then we'll get commenting support. And then the next thing was like image attachment support. And then I'm sure folks are going to want to talk about, you know, doing things like, you know, adding more graphs and things like that. I think I was thinking about this a little bit over the week, that if we just keep embedding more and more Grafana graphs, this page is probably going to be really heavy, because I noticed that like every iframe ends up loading.
It's already slow.
Yeah, like so what I was thinking is we might want to do is what is it? It's a NVD3, I think. Yeah. We might want to look at doing some of those temperature graphs and things like that.
Oh yes, yes, those are much better. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're light and very fast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think if we did something like this, we should be able to render most of the same things. Obviously, like, it won't be as super duper flexible, but it should have most of the stuff. And then we'll just keep the link here where, like, if people really need to do a lot of heavy exploring and things like that, they can click into Grafana and play around. But all the basic stuff like battery level, charging, ambient temperature, humidity, blah, 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 blah. We should be able to render, you know, basic, say, like 3-day graphs in NVD3. And that should make this page a lot lighter and only able us to, like, you know, potentially put like a nice big list of graphs on this page.
Yeah, and NVD3 can also zoom in. That would be very useful if they have.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does.
I think it should.
You might have to enable it. I mean, it's basically it's D3, so it's pretty
it's
capable.
Open and flexible. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of like what you enable. Trying to see if there's like something that includes like zoom ins and stuff, but I know it does. Like, obviously they have like mouse overs, but yeah. NVD3 time control. Yeah, anyway, I'm sure there's the possibility. And then the other thing that I was thinking is, you know, if we do feel like it's going to be too much of a pain in the butt to do an NVD3, I think it's in my mind, it's okay to show some fixed time interval here, and then just say if people want to do more, they can they can go into Grafana
Yes, that's
and explore
yeah.
all they want.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not trying to build like a perfect dashboarding solution, but ideally this should be a place where any AirNote owner can like go and make sure things seem okay.
Yeah, that's all.
And if not, it gives them a place to dig in deeper.
Yeah, now it's set up for 7 days, I think. Huh?
Yeah. Which
Okay,
is
at some point we should, I don't know, maybe the next time we have an in-person meeting and have everybody sitting around a table. So sometime in 2022, we need to think about
basically
the general workflows. You know, who defines 3 people? You know, a person who's owns a sensor, a person who's interested in data. You know, who are the users and what are their likely usage, and then measure everything we've done as this improvements come in against those scenarios, so we make sure we're not, you know, making it unusable for one group at the, you know, in order to make it easier for another. Because we tend to see everything from our own point of view, which is as developers and you know, Safecast people, and we need to make sure we don't, that we probably should find some advocates, somebody who's a new user, and make them, you know, look at it and give us feedback.
Yeah.
Under pain, you know, I don't know.
And I tried to capture a couple of those archetypes in the sort of bird's eye view diagram. You know, feel free to take a look at what's there, and if we want to add some, that sort of thing. And then it also factors into this issue as well, which is that, and I don't have any great answers for this yet. You know, we've talked about this before. I would love to see kind of more flexible data access. I don't know offhand what's going to be a great way to enable that, but it's a little like we saw with Ian's London query last week. Like, I would love a way to just say, here's an open PostGIS, go download QGIS or whatever, or like whatever your favorite mapping tool is. Like, it'd be really cool if we knew offhand, like, I don't know a lot about how to work with like Mapbox and Carto. But if there's like, if Mapbox and Carto have like some really easy way that you can plug data into them, like, for example, I think maybe PostGIS is an option there. I don't know for sure. But boy,
or give them a pointer to a repository.
Well, that's what we do today. Yeah, I mean, it's like I send them links to code and I'm like, here's how it works. And like what we've been doing so far is basically trying to build HTTP APIs that like expose that sort of stuff, which I think is kind of useful, but it's also, it really limits flexibility, and it's also really expensive is the thing to keep in mind too. Like in order to keep these HTTP APIs up and functioning for everybody, you know, we have to be pretty guarded about how we expose it. And so wouldn't it be amazing if like we could just open it up in a way that, you know, anyone taking a look has kind of their own private space where they can play around with the data all they want, and they're not going to impact other people. You know, it'd be nice to get some solutions there. I think did I mention Carto in here somewhere? No, I think it was over on this issue, because I was curious about like better mapping solutions. And so I did reach out to Carto, and I think I have a demo scheduled like tomorrow. So I'll find out more about Carto. But I would love to just have some, you know, here's a simple way to do this in R, here's a simple way to do this in Mapbox, you know, that sort of thing, so that we can kind of meet analysts where they are. So far, anytime I've personally worked with an analyst on this data set, like we have it in a bunch of places that like I knew to put it, and then ultimately none of them seem like an awesome fit for the sort of tools that the analyst is trying to use to like look at the data. And at the end of the day, like they tend to just say like, oh, I just want big CSVs. And so like we can export a bunch of CSVs. Either way, I think it'd be good to have it kind of to Joe's point. It'd be good to take it from the perspective of someone who's really trying to do something with this, and like, what is the easiest way for them to load in the data? And I don't, you know,
and like with
Ian's query
last week, Ian's query last week should become a person on that list of your diagram of people we need, because where we have like undefined user, we're supposing. Well, why suppose when you can actually put a name on something and use that as an example and test your designs against that concept?
Yeah, I would classify him personally under the sort of environmental researcher space. I don't know, maybe there's another archetype.
Yes.
But and so for them right now, our answer is these data sets, but I think historically folks have had a less than great time attempting to work with these. Like obviously there's the daily export, which I think a lot of people use and it does okay. We've given people access to the ingest PostGIS, but also since it only contains the continually reporting sensors, often people come back and like, okay, this is interesting, but where's all the big IGI stuff? So So we might have to look at building a new uploader that basically uploads to here as well, so that way it's a more comprehensive data set.
Yeah, I agree that.
Yep. So, and I know I've had emails from a couple of people who have been happy with the SNS topic as well. I don't think those folks are as vocal. They tend to just email me directly because I think somewhere in here it says just like email Matt. Anyone with an AWS account can just subscribe to this public channel and start ingesting our data as well. And I know some people do, and it's pretty cool because it doesn't cost us a dime. It's all on their dollar at that point, so they can do whatever they want with it.
That scales.
Yep, sure does. Sure does. Yep. So, yep. Cool. Yeah. I don't know if I have anything else too much to talk about, but we organized the issues a little bit. We talked about the new dev link. I think we can probably close this one. Emery?
Yeah, sure.
Close this one in favor of the other one.
Mm.
Yeah. They're kind of built on top of each other anyway, right?
Right.
Sounds good. Talked about a lot of the usual stuff. Not too worried about the Grafana DB and stuff like that. I mean, it should get done at some point, but it's not going to kill us. We'll be all right. So,
what would be the best way to do the image attachments? Like I found something called active storage.
So, if you want to just do files, we have carrier wave support. I was actually curious to check out, I think I listed it here, yeah. I was curious to check out Cloudinary because I think their free plan works for us, and I think they include stuff like porn filtering. So if someone tries to upload nasty stuff, I'm pretty sure they have stuff on their end that makes sure that it doesn't end up on a public web page. So that would be the main thing on my mind, is like, we could just do carrier wave, and we have carrier wave already for the, that's what handles the bGeigy uploads, because those are just like text files. So when you upload those go into carrier wave. So it's an option. But if we do, we could end up, on the hook for spam or porn or whatever. So I'm hoping we can go with it.
Or who knows what.
Advertisements or whatever. So I'm hoping we can just use this and get by with their free plan. And then we don't have to worry.
How much is the free plan? What do we get for the free plan?
Let's see. They changed their website around there. I know these days they're trying to like push people more towards using the video. So where's the, let me look at pricing. 25 gigabytes.
Credits, 25K transformations or 25 gigabytes of managed storage.
That's fine.
Yeah, 25 gigabytes should be plenty. And like the one user, one account thing is, that's
fine.
just like administration side stuff. So yeah, which I think we can just share an account, and that should be fine.
But what are the 25 monthly credits? What's that?
That's a good question. I don't know offhand.
No idea.
No idea.
And how do you spend them, right?
Yeah.
Yep. No idea. They talk about credits and stuff like that. I don't know what the credits go towards. So anyway, yeah. If you try in Emre, you can explore and see what's here. If it doesn't make sense, by all means, you don't have to use it. But it'd be nice to do this in a way that we don't have to.
Yeah, I will look into
scramble. Because we've had enough trouble just with like text fields, right? Like we left the I don't know if I told you, but we had a case where we left the account username. Like anyone could register an account, and like you could potentially see that user's name before they verified their account. And we had a case where like someone was like loading a ton of porn links into the user account.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure we don't have a version of that, but with images, that could be a real mess. So yeah.
Looks like the credits might be for attention from a support person as opposed to on the user form.
That would make sense. Yep. So yeah, 25 gigs should be way more than enough. Like essentially the images that we're planning on uploading come down to like installation photos and things like that. So
yeah,
you know, where is it mounted in the house? Which way is it facing? What does the surrounding environment look like? That sort of thing.
Yeah. Pictures of the team smiling under the sensor as from having finished it. Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of thing. So, yeah. 25 gigabytes should be way more than enough.
Which reminds me, there's still a fixed sensor up in Namie somewhere that I have not found.
Which one is that, Joe?
I don't remember the number on it, but we've made 3 or 4 concerted searches, conferring with the installer a couple times, and I mean, I've definitely been to the location that is shown on its GPS location, and the permutations of if it were put in the wrong format, like it was decimal degrees instead of CMS or something, and I still can't find it. And it has a photo. I mean, there's a photo on its user page, but I can't find that building. It's so that's what made me think of it. Is oh yeah, that's right. That one's got a picture of the installation, and it shows a building in the background with certain colored tile and certain color window frames and stuff, and we have not been able to locate it.
Jeez. Would it help? I mean, do you have the data, or is it not reporting?
No, we have data from it too. Yeah.
Okay, so you have the latitude.
What's that?
You have like the latitude and longitude.
No, that's the left one. That's
it's one where the latitude and longitude is typed in on the SD card manually. No, it doesn't have a GPS.
That's not an actual GPS.
No.
Gotcha.
Right, and we've talked to the person who put it in. He says, no, I double checked it. That's the right location. I'm like, I'm standing at that location and it's not in view.
Gotcha. Here, I'll link up. I found Rob's sensor, since I know that one has some installation photos to give an idea of like what we're probably going to be trying to attach here. And that'll be cool, because that basically means after that point, we ping Nick and we talk to him about switching out the I think this is one
URLs for that.
Yeah, switching out these to be like Grafana embeds or something along those lines. So yeah, that'll be the point when we talk to Nick about doing that. And then after that, I think we're basically ready to turn off realtime.safecaps.org, but we'll find out when we get to that point. But that'll be cool. Only took us a little over a year at this point. Pretty good.
But Matt, you want to point realtime directly? Sorry, just forward directly to here if people still type in the old URL.
Yeah, I think probably send it to like the device stories page, for example. Yeah, something along those lines. I don't want to totally break the URL. Be nice
and don't be too harsh, Matt. Anything with a 2019 date and if completed in 2021 is probably only a very short time. I think 2020 is just skipped. It's like those days in March in like, what was it, 1750, where the calendar was adjusted.
Yeah, pretty much.
We jumped from the 17th to 25th of March, and I don't know, I forget what year it was. With different places, different jurisdictions, but
cool. So we're about to get cut off in 2 minutes, it looks like. So maybe we'll wrap it up there. Thanks everyone for joining.
Okay.
Great.
Talk to y'all soon.
See you in 11.
See you.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.